Hey guys, how are you? Welcome everyone to the EBM Scholars. Today we have a very special guest here. We are going to have a very good conversation. I've been talking about the benefits and why you need to join the US military if you are here. So I'm talking to someone who had the privilege to serve in the US military. So I'm going to ask some few questions and then we can be able to share some of the few experience and the reason why someone is joining the military. So welcome.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Let's start with your name. What's your name? Just the first name.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, my name is Cyril Masanja.
Okay.
I'm 75th Ranger Battalion, 2nd Battalion.
So let's start from there. For normal, simple language, what is Ranger? Who is Ranger?
That goes a little bit further.
Yeah.
There's normal Rangers that manage to get the Ranger tab. Then there's the ones who are scrolled. And the ones who are scrolled are hired, in my book, a little bit higher than the ones who are tabbed. But yeah, it's difficult to explain that part.
Okay. When you are joining the military, why did you decide to go to the branch which you decided to choose that branch? For those who do not know, Ranger is within the US Army.
Yes.
Yes. So why did you decide to join the US Army and exactly to be a Ranger than joining Navy or Air Force or direct go to Marines?
So I did try to go to the Marine Corps at one point in time, and I wasn't able to go to the Marine Corps because they had a lot of hurdles, as I would like to call them. Meanwhile, the Army was like, hey, you could go through here and you could go and get your what is this, citizenship done pretty quickly. So I joined the United States military instead, and to be very honest with you, I looked at the Navy and looked at the Air Force and I looked at the Coast Guard and everybody else, and they just did not give me the things that I was looking for. So I decided to go to the Army, and that was the good fit for me.
For me, I joined Navy because it was the easy one.
That makes sense.
Compared to the Marines and the plus Army plus Ranger, that is different ball game for me. So the training, how is it? I know there is no. Do you do like swimming also like in Navy for Ranger? You do that too?
Yes, you have a water week, and there is some swimming, quite a bit of swimming. Quite a bit of swimming. Get ready for that. It's gonna be cold. In case you're wondering. Yeah, it's gonna be cold. Yeah, you're gonna be hungry and you are not gonna like it.
And how long is the training? From basic until you go to the, I don't know, advanced training.
Into the actual unit, until you hit the unit. So from basic until you hit the unit, I want to say 6. You know what? Just allot yourself about 7 to 8 weeks. 8 months. I apologize. Give yourself about 7 to 8 months. Why? Because you never really know what's going to happen while you're in basic, if you're hurt or anything of that nature. 7 to 8 months, then you definitely have covered everything, and you're able to hit all of that stuff.
Let me ask just like a normal layman question. So what is the difference between, for someone who is watching, the difference between Navy SEAL, Ranger, Delta Force? What is the difference?
Well, to be honest with you, with those guys, the Rangers were the lower end of the totem pole, if you will. We're the lower end. But we're still and I hate to say this way, but I'm sure other Rangers who are looking at this at some point in time, I'm sure they're going to look at it. We still punch holes in the bad guy, so it makes sense. The truth.
Related to that, so if, for instance, now you have to advise someone to join a branch or to specific MOS, like what kind of job will you advise?
It depends on what branch they're going into. If they're going into Army, if they're going into the Army, I would honestly tell them try to push for Rangers all the way, all day, every day. Try to push for Rangers if you can. But if you cannot, and if you don't have that 70th what's the word, contract in your thing, like when you go talk to your recruiters or whatever, if you don't have that, then that's fine. You know, hey, you know what? There's a lot of things that the Army can use you for. Like, there's no doubt from that. I cannot speak from Navy. I cannot speak from Marines. I cannot speak for anybody else. Honestly speaking, I can't even truly speak for Army, but I can kind of talk a little bit of something about it. I would say the easiest ones were comms. From my point of view, they had a pretty good day. Infantry had a pretty tough day, so if you're that guy who's like 18, 17, whatever, you know, and you're trying to really
explore the
world, yes, and you're really going out and trying to really get in there, hey, you know what, hey, maybe that's your thing. If you're the guy who's like, you know what, I'm laying back and I just want the GI Bill, or I just want to get my paperwork, or I just want to do whatever, you know, you might want like MP. MP never really went anywhere. They deployed, yes, they did deploy, but
lighter deployment.
It was a very light deployment, and yeah.
And the for the benefits part, when you deploy, you get extra based on the location you go for, the like security or danger zone, versus if you deploy in the peaceful area, right? Always.
So from what I gathered was, yeah, that's about right.
Because I remember when you deploy, like you go to Japan, obviously you get money, but it's not much compared if you go to, let's say, to Syria. For instance, giving they will go to Afghanistan, you get extra from that.
You get more, yeah. If you're in an immediate danger zone, then they do give you more. They do give you more money on that aspect. But if you're in an area that's considered a green zone or whatever, they do give you less. For example, like Japan, like what you mentioned, yeah.
Okay, so now you are not in the military.
No.
So what do you do right now?
Right now, I am going for law enforcement again. Yeah.
And to what I know, you are very expert into things related to the use, safety of the gun, and why someone needs to have it, like in the legal way, and the protection and everything.
Yeah.
Can you a little bit explain for someone who doesn't know? Because especially for us as immigrant, or people, someone watching with the news, is, oh, it's just everything, like people are going crazy, whatever. But we do not know the laws behind the gun. I'm giving example, or what are the fundamentals of someone to have it in the safety way? What things you're not supposed to do if you have one, you have license to carry. So if you can explain to some of the things.
Of course. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about that. First things first, if you're not a citizen of the United States, to be very honest with you, it's going to be difficult for you to get a weapon if you're looking for one legally, it's gonna be very difficult for you to get one. But if you are a citizen of the United States and or you're about to be a citizen of the United States, it's a little bit easier and or a lot easier for you to get that weapon. First things first, first thing that I would recommend, in fact, is go ahead and go to your nearest sheriff's department. Okay, and like the moment you get your citizenship, or like you're about to get your citizenship, go to your nearest sheriff's department. Understand their laws, understand what they want exactly, because some sheriff's departments, they're gonna want, for example, they're gonna want a certain magazine capacity. You know, for example, I know California wants a certain number of rounds in your magazine, whereas Kansas, which is a red state, they don't care too much, you know, so it kind of varies from state by state. So yeah, go to your local sheriff's department. They would know exactly what to get. And then right after that, what you should do is also ask that local sheriff's department and individual sheriff's deputy, hey, what is the area that I can go to get my concealed carry? And once you get that, they would give you more information as to where to go from there, right? And they would give you all those information. And you know, another thing that I think is interesting is also you need to go ahead and get plugged into your local sidearm or shooting place that's around.
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask. Like, so if I get the permit, do I just put here and start walking? What are the procedure to get like special training?
Oh yeah, so like, yeah, you need to get plugged in to your local firearms or, you know, shooting range. For the most part, they're gonna have these guys called RSOs. Those are range safety officers. Those guys have a lot of information. They have a lot of knowledge. Those guys are gonna know, for the most part, what to do when it comes to stuff like that. For the most part, they're gonna know a little bit of how to make you better. Now, if you go ahead, if you're lucky enough to collect them, hey man, go ahead. You're collecting knowledge, you know, and that's basically where I'm at right now. I'm just collecting knowledge.
What are the mistakes people are doing once they get the license to have it? What are the mistakes, like you are allowed to carry the gun legally? What are the mistakes people usually do?
The number one mistakes that people tend to do when they do carry a weapon legally is brandish it. For example, like if I carry it now, in case you guys are not tracking this or not, I have a weapon right here. Right? It's been sitting right here this whole time. The number one mistake that most of these guys tend to do is they would have this weapon sitting in their belt just like this, and literally it would just be sitting there open for everyone to see. I think that's a mistake. I literally believe that every law enforcement officer would agree with me on this, because in that aspect it's like
threatening others?
Not necessarily threatening others, but basically telling others that, hey, I have a weapon. It's basically telling the bad guy that, hey, you know, come on.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Not necessarily just I'm ready, but I don't know when you're coming. I don't know when you're ready, but you know what? I have my weapon, and it's bad, regardless. So Yeah, it's bad.
And another mistake would be like what, apart from that?
Another thing would be not ready. For example, you might have the weapon, but please, 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 do not underestimate the bad guy's ability to read that you have a weapon. Because if I can see that you have a weapon, best believe that everybody else can understand that you have a weapon. Therefore, they can take that weapon from you. Therefore, it's useless to you. Therefore, you just brought the weapon to the game. If that makes any sense, you know?
And if, let's say, I have a license here in Kansas, can I travel with it in the car to California or to New York?
No.
And if you want to travel, what are the procedures?
So I traveled from Colorado to Kansas with this weapon right here. I check it every time I pick it up. With this weapon right here, in fact, and it's unloaded for anybody who can see this. This is a Glock 19 9mm. And I check it every time to make sure that it's unloaded. But I travel with this weapon for the most part a lot of times. And I noticed that I went through Colorado, through Ohio, through into Kansas, and into Missouri, and back into Kansas. And nobody gave me any problems. I was in my car, I had no problems whatsoever. Now, if a law enforcement officer does pull you over, the biggest thing that you need to do, if I'm assuming that's what you're asking,
yes,
for the most part, yeah. The biggest thing that you need to do is disclose that offhand. Make sure that you tell them right there with your hands on the wheel, just like that, not moving, not making any big threatening movements. Just, you know, hey, sir or ma'am, whichever way that they come from, because sometimes they come from the passenger side, sometimes they come from the driver's side. So whichever way that they come from,
don't move.
Don't move. Just like, hey, sir or ma'am, I have a weapon, and it's right, blah 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 blah. You know, like it's on my console, or it's in the driver's seat, or it's on my passenger seat, or it's on my lap right now, or it's in my hip, or whatever it is. Just make sure you inform them. That way, for the most part, a lot of them will probably tell you something along the lines of, hey, all right, cool, I can see it. I can see it. That's the thing, that they need to be able to see it. Hey, I can see it. I'm tracking that's there. Don't move towards it, and we should all be fine. That's it. For the most part, a lot of them do that. So.
But there is another mistake. Some people, I say it's a mistake because some people, they don't have a weapon, and the police is stopping you, and you are starting putting your hand down, and the assumption is you are going to get something. How is that common to many police to assume that if you are, I'm telling you to stop and whatever, and you are starting going down, and here in the US there is Second Amendment, I'm allowed to carry. Right. So how is the mind of the police officers going on at that particular situation?
So in that particular situation, I think, at least from my situation, it would be, hey, what is this guy doing? Where is he going? Because at the end of the day, if I'm the cop coming towards your car, I have a couple of things in mind, you know, like I have, is this guy is there a crime here? That's number one question. If there is no crime here, I shouldn't be stopping them in the first place. So if there is a crime here right now, then moving on to the next question. Is this individual a threat to the public? Okay, that's another question. If they are a threat to the public, then I'm moving on to another question. The other question would be along the lines of, are they a threat to me?
Yes.
These are the questions that are literally come into mind, and they are one after the other. So first question, are these guys is there a crime here? That's the first question I ask myself. If there is a crime here, okay, cool, this dude has been weaving in and out of traffic. It's about 2:30 in the morning and we are about close to the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. This guy's weaving in and out of traffic. Fair enough. All right. So the possibility of crime here. Now, I stopped him. Is this individual gonna be a threat to the public? Well, they're weaving in and out of traffic indiscriminately. Okay, they're driving, they're accelerating, and they're braking unexpectedly. They're, you know, no signals, just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, there is a threat to the public here, right? So I'm answering these questions. And then the last thing, is this the guy a threat to me? Okay, now that I've stopped him, as I'm looking over, I'm seeing their advert movements. Like, is this guy looking at the rearview mirror a whole lot? Hence why a lot of cops tend to blind that rearview mirror. I don't know when was the last time that you've ever been blinded on that rearview.